There used to be a time where if you wanted to get electronics, you went to Hong Kong. But not anymore. You should go to Shenzhen because it's the home of China's electronics industry as well as BYD, their biggest EV player. Well, actually, not just in China, but in the world. Let's check out what BYD has to offer. Hey guys, Vince here from AutoIndustriya, and we are in Shenzhen at BYD Headquarters. They invited us over here because they wanted to show us what BYD is all about. And given that BYD doesn't really invite very often, we thought we'd take them up on that offer. Now, what is BYD? Well, it stands for Build Your Dreams. And in the Philippine market, they've actually been around for a while, but in China, it's still a fairly new automaker. They were established sometime in 1995, early 1995, and then they've grown to become one of the largest automakers in the world, and actually the largest automaker when it comes to electric vehicles. What makes BYD very special is that they control everything from the manufacturing process. Basically very, very vertically integrated. If you can think of, let's say, farm to table, well, they are the automotive equivalent of farm to table, meaning right from the mining, getting the resources, producing the parts, producing the components, including some special components, including I think they call it an 8-in-1 control unit for the EVs, which is very, very critical. They're the only ones who do that. They handle all of that. They're also a battery manufacturer. Basically, anything they need from the very ground all the way up to the finished automobile, they actually do and make sure that the quality is just right. And right next to me, this one is made by BYD. This is the Yangwan U8. I mean, I can't read the characters there, but that's what I've been told it actually is. It's their ultra luxury mark. So imagine, this is like a Defender from BYD. So the first car we're gonna take a look at now is this one. This is the BYD Seagull. And if anything, a lot of the cues of the vehicle, while it is a hatchback, well, it has a Lamborghini-ish kind of front end, which is a weird thing to say for a vehicle like this. Now, it is a 5-door hatchback, as you can see. Let me show you what's going on with the interior. Of course, here is the charging port right there. But here, come over here. The interior is very, very different when you look at this car. It's got all this blue and stuff, of course, depending on the spec that you get. It's got the blue here, it's got the wireless charging port there, USB port underneath, all that stuff. Your transmission control, by the way, is right here. Very, very unique because drive, you pull this down, reverse, you push it up, and then the parking brake is you press here on the side. But what's really nice, of course, and I'll show you this later on, is the tilting function or the rotating function on the main screen, which is pretty cool. And you know, the color I actually really like. It does, yeah, it's giving off a weird Lambo, mini Lambo, micro Lambo vibe. I don't know why I'm saying that, but it does look cool. Now this one is already available in the Philippine market. This is the BYD Dolphin. Right now they're retailing it for around, I think, 1.7 million, there or thereabouts, maybe just a little bit under. But this one you can already get locally, but you may want to check on the price because that may change given the new law. Now, in terms of the look, it does look pretty neat, and the way they did the front, very, very, well, clean and all that. But look inside, well, check this out. Now, it's a very different look because it is quite functional, a lot of the things they did with the vehicle. Now, you look at the front, you got screen here, screen there, very nice D-cut steering wheel over there with all the buttons. Same thing as the BYD Seagull, you do have the drive control right here. So drive, neutral, reverse, all that stuff. A nice tray here for your phone, all kinds of storage going on right here. But you know what? Maybe we should go somewhere else where we can drive both cars. And for that, they're bringing us to a very, very fast-paced place. So here we are inside the BYD Dolphin. Now, I think I got that right. This is already being offered in the Philippine market. They're selling it for around, I think, 1.6 something million, thereabouts. But they're working on lowering the price to around, I think, 1.5 to 1.3 million. So we'll find out, I think, in time for the EV Summit, what the actual price is going to be for this vehicle. We're chasing a BYD Seal, which we'll be driving a little bit later here in Zhuhai. So yeah, just getting a feel for the car. It's a very, very small hatchback-ish, SUV-ish, not really. It's really more of a hatchback, a little bit bigger than, I'd say maybe about a Jazz size vehicle. But of course, the Jazz no longer offered in the Philippines, but in terms of space, it's kind of very, very similar. Not in terms of cargo space, this is a totally different vehicle when it comes to cargo space. But telling you about the handling of this one right now, it's actually very, very nice. Because, well, BYD seems to have sorted out a lot of the things, understeer, a lot of the things with the vehicle. And on the track, it's pretty controllable. Not that you'd be racing around with this vehicle on the track, but still, it's pretty fun. I mean, put your foot down. Yep, it's pretty nice. It's catching up very, very nicely to the BYD Seal that's right up ahead. All right, guys, we are driving Steven Seagull. Yes, so such a corny joke. But this is a very small hatchback. It's only about 3.8 meters long. So, yeah, if medyo maliit yung parking space mo sa Metro Manila, perfect car for you. Kung kulang yung garahe mo, pang motor lang, hindi naman siguro kasya to. But the look of the vehicle is actually very, very nice for what it is. And that's something that BYD really focuses on, the design of the cars. And from what we've seen so far with the Dolphin and with the Seal and with some of the others, they're really leveling it up. And even when you look at the interior of this, it's actually pretty fantastic for what they're going to charge for it. And make no mistake about it, they will offer this in the Philippine market. So, what can you expect? Well, some of the different things here, you do have a full digital cockpit. So a smaller screen right here for the driver, and then a bigger screen here, basically your infotainment unit. And being that it's BYD, the great thing is that you can rotate this screen, which is pretty cool. Now, another thing that's different here, it does have a single wiper. I will say that I think it's better. Let me tilt that back over. I think it's better than the Dolphin, which is unusual to say. Now this is me at full throttle. We're going 130, 105. Let's brake for this corner. It's a bit tight, so let's try getting it here and then. The handling is better than the Dolphin. That is strange. The Dolphin is a more expensive vehicle, but in terms of handling, clearly this one feels a lot better. And it's not super quick when you accelerate, like try to get to 100. It's only like, I think there are two versions of this. One with a 75 PS electric motor driving the front wheels. The other one is a 102 PS electric motor also driving the front wheels. So in terms of power, not that much, you know. So let's see, rotate in the corner, power out. That's me on full throttle already. It's not giving me the sensation of a lot of the EVs we've driven where it's really powerful when you dump, when you floor it right away. This one, no, you don't have that anywhere near as much power in this one, but still it's pretty good, and I appreciate the handling. I think this could be a hit if they price it right, and that's what they're actually looking at, because in terms of pricing, they're looking at around, I think, 1 million to around 1.2 million for this one, or maybe a little bit less. I think maybe less than 1 million, there or thereabouts. If the lower they can get it, I think it's going to be a hit in the Philippines. And in terms of range, there are two batteries versions. One is a 30.08 kilowatt hour battery. The other one is a 38.88. Yeah, sobrang swerte, puro 8. So that's what the BYD is going with these vehicles. And if they get the price right, hopefully by the time you see this, the pricing is out, and you can make up your mind as to whether it's a good fit for you. Now let's check out something else, the BYD Seal. But the cherry on top will be our drive of this one. This is the BYD Seal, and we are at the Zhuhai International Circuit in China. Actually, we're just right next to Macau. And this car, well, we're not going to get it in the Philippine market, but it is going to be the most exciting drive today. And a lot about the vehicle itself is going to apply to some of the future models of BYD. Now, in terms of a styling perspective, well, it does give off a real Porsche Taycan vibe, of course, minus the Taycan price, especially with the way they designed the front. The BYD logo there is much actually differentiated from what it was before, but the futuristic look, it's a four-door sedan. That's also the reason why we're not really going to get it. They're not that popular in the Philippines anymore, but the way the vehicle looks is really giving off a very futuristic, very cool vibe. The interesting bit here is when it comes to the drivetrain of the vehicle, because this is an all-wheel drive sedan. It's a four-door, I guess, I think, or is it a five-door? Nevertheless, I mean, you see four doors on either side with these door handles that kind of tuck in very, very neatly there. But in terms of power, you've got 160 kilowatts for the front axle and 230 kilowatts for the rear axle. In terms of battery capacity, well, first, the battery is located underneath, and the BYD is doing a very different thing in the way they sandwich the battery and integrate it into the frame of the vehicle. But also battery capacity, 82.5 kilowatts, kilowatt hours. And when it comes to range, up to 570. We want to take you around inside, but with the rain, it's really not possible for now. So we'll try to give you some insights on the interior when we drive it out on the track. And yeah, we're going to be having a lot of fun with this one on a rainy Zhuhai International Circuit. So another day, another track drive, and let me get this mask. Oh, that's much, much better. Now, yes, we've got our helmet and our balaclava and all that, so we're gonna look weird like I'm being shot out of another cannon. But what we're in is the BYD Seal. And this vehicle, like I said, we will not be getting in the Philippine market. This is something that's going to be offered in other markets except ours, because we're more of a crossover market now. Actually, everyone's pretty much a crossover market now. But still, a lot of the things we're going to experience here, we can kind of translate into other models that are coming in the near future. And what I can tell you now, first impressions, just sitting inside in the pit lane, it's an impressive looking interior. Very futuristic steering wheel right here. I mean, it's not fancy, but it is futuristic. Got a lot of buttons for things like your smart cruise control, all that stuff. You've got a dual screen layout in front with your basically landscape screen here, similar to a lot of other models we've tried. And then this larger screen, which I think this one can rotate if you press a button, but I'm not gonna do that now while we're driving on a racetrack. Now this is a hairpin, which that guy in front does not know how to deal with. So yeah, the guy in front clearly doesn't know how to drive on a racetrack. Maybe they don't have as much experience as some of us here on this drive, but we can tell the way he's really slowing down at the corner apex, which is just totally wrong. Anyways, on the main straight, how's the power? Pretty good. I mean, we're not expecting like Taycan levels of power, even though we're getting, kind of Taycan levels of looks, but when it comes to the thrust, it does give you that feeling of thrust, like you've got the power at your command. That's what EVs give you. And a lot of the EVs I've tried, some are like a bit more varied in terms of how it delivers power. This one, I'd say it's a bit smoother, and that's something I really like. So here we are again inside the BYD Seal, and this time it's a little bit different because they've got it set up for, well, sport. And sport, it does give off a rather different sound, and it's really, really cool what they're doing with the sound of the car. Normally EVs are very, very quiet cars. This one, it sounds so awesome. So we're now getting a feel for the car when it comes to going around the corners. This is, well, just carry the speed here. Whoa, nice. Now, the way they set up the car, it's an all-wheel drive car. So when you try to power into the corners a bit too hot, you will understeer. But once you try to feed in the little throttle or you adjust your throttle pressure, then you can kind of get the car to rotate just that little bit more. And then, let me try this one now. We're gonna slide here a little bit. Oh no, we didn't. Brake for this, would be the hairpin, the slowest corner. And then you turn in, bleed off the brakes, and then feed in the throttle. It tries to understeer, but then you unwind a little bit, add a little bit more power. Don't get on the rumble strip because it does unsettle the car a little bit. We're not on performance tires. He's really reminding me of there, 200. This is your braking point. When it's raining like this, you have to be able to look outside and see your brake markers. That is going to be your biggest guide when it comes to mastering any kind of racetrack. I mean, I'm no master, but kind of at least like to say that I know what I'm doing when it comes on a racetrack. And clearly here they're letting us have a bit of fun with that. And with this, the potential of the Seal, yeah, it's really exciting. I wish we get this vehicle in the Philippines, but no, we won't. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bit too expensive. The way when I asked earlier how much would the price be, they said it would be over 2 million, like well over 2 million. So it's like not really practical to be sold in the Philippine market. So it's not something that's going to garner a lot of numbers. I asked them to bring in a few units so we can, drive it in the Philippines, but no, they're not gonna do that. I hope they change their mind because it's a really cool car. But still, there's a lot of potential in what BYD has to offer. And when they do this platform in a lot of other vehicles, clearly it's going to be very, very exciting. And let's go back to the pits now and check out what else we can see over there, because I think they have a simulator over there. Now, you want to see the coolest feature on a BYD? Well, it's right here. See the screen? Nice. You can configure it how you want. That's going to be useful when you do something like navigation where it's a little bit more, upright and all that. Pretty cool stuff. So, let's go back to the pits and, yeah. I'm probably going to wear out the motor if I keep doing this, so I'll just stop. BYD and Ayala are ideally partnered and also perfectly timed to take advantage of new legislation moving forward when it comes to EVs. That is something that is going to be big for them in our market. Because with the new EV, the law making EVs more affordable through, well, exemptions and all that, it's going to be very, very attractive. But the key thing for them is going to be their strategy for the Philippine market for a lot of other things that customers really hold dear when it comes to their vehicles and e-vehicles. For one, charging. And on that front, Ayala has the advantage because they have a huge network of infrastructure to really take advantage of in their network under Ayala Corporation. But more importantly, it's going to be their thrust into renewable energy. That is something I know that they are really working on to improve the mix of renewables and non-renewables so that when you charge your EV with Ayala, well, you're going to have better chances when it comes to knowing that that energy is coming from something far more sustainable. But what's going to be important here is really going to be the price of the vehicles. Now, in terms of the Seal, well, they're not going to be offering that in the Philippine market. A lot of the experiences we experienced with these vehicles are going to be applicable to future BYD models. Hopefully, crossover SUVs, those are going to prove really popular. But the Atto is also likewise interesting, and a lot of other BYD models that they're going to have. So let us know in the comments below what you think is going to be the real advantage of BYD in the Philippine market. because the way we see it, they have a lot of potential if they play their cards right. This is Vince of AutoIndustriya.com, and my shoes are wet.